What's up, kids? Happy New Year. Well, it's not quite New Year yet because you're going to be listening to this tonight. But if you're listening to tomorrow, Happy New Year. It's January 1st of 2019. Congrats, you actually made it there. This podcast will be a little different. I wasn't expecting to do this one because the episode I had planned to do this weekend, some weird thing with my file on my computer messed it up and it won't upload onto YouTube. So I'll have to figure that out this week, change some things, whatever, do what I gotta do, and then you'll have it next weekend. So this podcast, I'm just gonna go off the rails. Usually when I sit down and do one by myself, I have notes or something like that and stuff to talk about. And I don't this time, but seriously, when I'm at work, I usually just have headphones in or I'm talking to myself, something like that. I don't know. And seriously, that's all I think about is stuff to talk about. And that's why I made this podcast. So I can actually have a place where that stuff has a purpose and it's not just sitting in my head. So I did on Instagram, I did a little story and I wanted to do a Q&A and we actually got some. So I'm going to do those real quick. Here we go. When are you going to let me be a guest on the podcast? Dude, where are you living now? Honestly, because I have no clue. Since I've moved here, I'm so out of the loop with everybody I went to high school with. But message me, man. Dude, I'll get you over here. We'll do a podcast. We'll talk about some sweet stuff, man. What's your biggest pet peeve? Oh, dude. I have a lot of them, which is a problem. I think if anybody has a lot of pet peeves, I think you're just a real irritable person. And I think I may be one of those people. Jeez, man, my biggest one. Honestly, I hate driving. I drive so much for work, so I'm just a road rager. Like I'm a really nice guy. I hope, like I try my best to be super super nice. If you met me in person, you'd be like, oh, that guy would never rage, ever. Dude, I don't think I've had a single moment where I've driven and I have it like raged out. I'm the worst road rager, but my whole family is. So it's in my genetics, you know? But yeah, for real, dude. When I'm driving, that's when I realize Thanos may have a point, you know? Because there's too many people driving that should not be driving. Like, for example, a lot of you people who are from Tehachapi, when you're on the 58 and there's someone who's in the fast lane already going 65 and you're going like, what, 70? And you're like, what the hell? Please speed up. And you're already riding them. And then they go to pass one of those semi-trucks and they slow down to like a cool 55 because they're scared to pass the truck. Those people, those are the people that you take your keys, you go to the Grand Canyon and you toss them because you don't need them. You're not supposed to be driving. Plain and simple. That's just a fact. So yeah, when it comes to driving, Thanos is right. Half of you got to go because you can't drive. But ultimately, I think my biggest pet peeve of all time is probably indecisive people. Like when I'm waiting for somebody to make a decision and I'm just sitting there waiting for them to make a decision, I don't know what it is about it, but that drives me absolutely bonkers. Because there's some people that they take so long to make decisions. Like if you want a specific example, because I'm sure some of you are like, why would that ever happen ever, you know? But this is where it happens. You ever go inside of a gas station and there's that guy, a girl too, usually they're in their like 40s 50s or old, and they just stand in front of like the energy drink glass door, you know, and they're just standing there trying to decide, and I'm standing there behind them. And I already know what I want because I'm a normal human being. The reason I'm going into a gas station to get something is because I wanted that thing and I already have that in mind. I'm not going in a gas station to make a decision on what I want because I'm not crazy. So there are those crazy people. And the thing that drives me nuts is when you're standing right behind them and they turn around and they see you waiting and they look right back to the glass and they just stand there even longer. If it takes you more than 5 seconds to decide what you want out of a case, you don't need it. I guarantee you don't need it. Close the glass and walk back to your car and let me get through and get what I wanted to get when I was sitting in my car. Even before that, even when I left my house, I knew what I wanted to get from the gas station. Because they're thinking, oh, he's just going to be patient. He's just waiting on me. He's probably thinking about what he wants to get. No. I'm thinking about what would happen if I gave you the hardest leg kick in the middle of this gas station. What would happen if I just reached from behind you and just gave you a rear naked choke in the middle of a gas station? What would the reaction be? And the guy working at the gas station would be like, "Whoa, you can't assault someone in the middle of a gas station." I said he was waiting in front of the glass door for 5 minutes to make a decision. He goes, "Oh yeah, he's one of those people. It's fine. I won't call the cops." It's the worst. But yeah, that has to be my biggest pet peeve. The next talk about the new Avengers movie. And not a question, that's a demand, and no, I don't want to answer it. But I am actually excited about that. Honestly, I don't know too much about what's supposed to happen. I try on purpose to avoid that because I want to watch the movie and actually like be surprised and enjoy the movie instead of like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. I know the inevitable of what's gonna happen. And that's what a lot of people are doing. If you're like a comic book fan from the time you were a kid or whatever, you know what happens somewhat. Or like if you're one of those people who just sits and watches YouTube on what's supposed to happen, then you know what's gonna happen pretty much. And usually I'm that way with stuff I'm into. I'm always, especially Marvel. Like I love Marvel movies. They're one of my favorite things ever. So I'm constantly on YouTube just listening to lore or whatever. But this one's different, man. I was so shook by the last one, Infinity War, that I can't even imagine what they have planned for this one. So I don't want to get it ruined. Also, if you're hearing gunshots and loud laughter, Zion's in his room. Playing Black Ops. Hasn't come out and said hi to me since I've gotten home, and that's the life. That's the life I live, kids. I'm very. This is the way I'm spending my New Year's. I come home, had a long freaking day at work, freaking stressful as crap, and the whole time I'm thinking I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna be around anybody. I know I'm gonna go home and Zion's gonna be in his room playing Black Ops 4 with the door closed. That's inevitable. That always happens. It's my life. I'm gonna be spending New Year's lonely and depressed. That's my story for New Year's. Next question. Will you marry me? It's a hard pass for me, dog. Um, you know what? I don't know. Marriage is weird. It's a weird thing, man. Cause like honestly, I don't know. Like my parents, they're great. They figured it out, and like I've never seen them happier, ever. And it makes me happy every time I'm home because they absolutely adore each other, and you can tell they're super happy. But they went through their thing, and all of my friends, for the most part, their parents went through much worse than mine, and so because of that, marriage has a weird place in my heart that I don't know. I don't know. It would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to want to marry somebody. Because really all it is you're signing a piece of paper, honestly. And you're basically saying if we divorce, yeah, and I'm saying this from the guy's point of view, if I sign this paper and we decide to get divorced, you get to take all my stuff. That's literally how I see it. So yeah, it would take a lot to get me to want to settle down with someone like that. You know, it's weird. It's so weird, dude. People who get married like that right now, I'm like, bro, I don't know. Or having kids right now, jeez. Which I get a lot of the time. You don't really have a choice, when it comes to that. But I don't know, dude. Like, I don't even know, like, what I'm doing tomorrow for New Year's. Like, I'm probably gonna sit around or clean or like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. Like, how am I supposed to run a family at this age? So people who do it, dude, I don't know how you guys freaking do it. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, but right now, last thing I'm thinking about is getting married. And for you, girl, who asked that, I'm sorry to let you down, but I'm sure you'll find your dream guy, hopefully. Why'd you dye your hair? And this is the thing. I knew when I dyed my hair I was gonna get asked about it 24/5/7. Not this much. I don't think I've gotten asked why do you dye your hair probably like 6 times today. So I've had my hair blonde for a little over a week now. You can imagine how many times I've gotten asked this question. Wanted a. That's my answer. Wanted a. And that's plain and simple. I didn't want to. I talked about it in the first podcast. I don't want to die knowing I didn't do something I didn't like. I don't want to die knowing that I didn't do something that I wanted to do, if that makes sense. So, and dyeing my hair was one of those things. And I really don't see myself dyeing my hair any like colors. I mean, I don't know. I actually got to the point of bleaching mine, so who knows. But I always wanted to see what I look like blonde. So that's why I did it, you know? And I could go full Pete Davidson and like go blue and do all that kind of thing. Just depressed. And that's fine. Um, yeah. I don't want to do any more questions. I got a couple more. I'll just save them for another podcast and I'll answer them then. New Year's. New Year's is weird. Especially New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions have always been so weird to me. I can remember even being like a kid, like why? Because like I was like 8 and was like, yeah, no one's gonna actually go through with that, you know. And most of the time it happens. Or the people that are like, I'm gonna lose weight. That's like the most common one, and I hated that because I'd be in the gym and just like January comes around and you can't do anything. It's like you're in a flock of penguins, just 100 people at the gym at one time, and then February comes around and like you have the whole gym to yourself. It's the same story every year. So if that's your resolution, either actually do it or just pick a different one, or just don't have a resolution because no matter what you pick, you're probably not going to go through with it anyways. It's plain and simple. But yeah, this year I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more at the end. But this year, you know what? I'll just save it to the end. What my resolution is, because for the first time, I actually have one that I'm gonna do. Because I need to do it. So, but I'll talk about that towards the end of the podcast. But I had this funny story that I wanted to share. Last Thursday, I was in a gas station, and I'm letting you guys know now. Every single time I say I have a story for you, it's gonna start with I was in a gas station, because I'm literally in gas stations all across this area every day, 5 days a week, which makes no sense. 5 days a week, I'm in gas stations for 8-9 hours of the day. I see some crazy shit. So I was at the store, and their soda machine was broken, and so the whole time they're talking about how it's broken. They're waiting for the mechanic to come, all that yada yada yada. So the mechanic comes, and he's from Pepsi, and so he's working on it, and you could just tell he's so frustrated. And like, if you ever seen someone and you're just like, bro, I don't want to talk to you because I feel like you're gonna choke me out. Yeah, that amount of frustrated. And so he's working on this thing for like 30 minutes, and I'm kind of like working around him, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just drops whatever tool he was using. I had never seen it before, on the ground. It just stands there staring straight at the machine, cold, dead face, and just walks out. Gets in his car and drives away. And he didn't come back for the rest of the time that I was there. Like, didn't say a word, just walked straight out. Yeah, it was awkward. I was like, that's a whole new level of like, I hate my job. If you're willing to just like completely just like stand up out of your desk, chair, or whatever, and just walk out, get in your car, and drive away, bro, you need to change your job immediately. Because that guy looked miserable. And I haven't gotten to the point of that job yet. I've had times where I've been so pissed that I've like just gone out and just like got some air and then went back in and worked, but I've never just like dipped. I can't even picture myself doing that. It would take a lot for me to actually get to the point of just like dipping. And it definitely wouldn't be fixing the soda machine. So, but yeah, my friend called me last Friday, I think, and he was like, dude, your podcast is so negative. And I was like, what? He's like, all the topics you talk about are negative. And he was talking about how I was talking about how if you're clinging girl, if you like clinging girls, you're beta, whatever, blah 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 blah. Thought it was funny. Still think it's funny. Not changing it. And so he said, "Stop being so negative on your podcast." And my answer to him is, no, no, no. This is my podcast, and the way I see it, I can do whatever I want. Venom reference. If you're really part of this tribe, you liked Venom more than you liked Spider-Man with Tom Holland. And that's just plain and simple. Because you know who's better than Tom Holland? Tom Hardy. And you know who's better than Tom Holland? Tom Holland also? Toby Mother effing Maguire. Now, I love Marvel. Don't get me wrong. But Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. And since the Tobey Maguire movies, they have botched that movie so many freaking times. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. So now I've lost my love for Spider-Man. I don't know. But the Venom movie was freaking dope. That was dope. That was a really good movie. I think that was like one of my favorite. Besides Infinity War, I think that was like my favorite superhero movie this year that came out. Just a really good movie. Tom Hardy's freaking dope, dude. Like, he's probably one of the most British dudes ever, and you couldn't even tell. He's so British. And same with Tom Holland. Tom Holland's British too. You wouldn't know unless you knew he was British. But dude, Tom Hardy's like, there's a very small group of actors that have been able to like play super or whatever, play characters in both DC universe and Marvel universe, but not a lot of them actually like kill it. And Tom Hardy's one of those because he was Bane in Batman. I don't even remember which Batman it was, but he was Bane, and he was freaking sick in that movie too. And I don't even like DC movies that much, but like I like the Batman movies. I like the one that he's in. And then, like, I sound like such a hypocrite because I say I hate DC movies, but I think the Batman with Heath Ledger, that's seriously probably in like my top 10 favorite movies. Because Heath Ledger's a freaking legend. He's a legend, dude. Like, no one could have played that role any better. And honestly, there will never be anyone who can fill that role ever again. Plain and simple. It just can't be done. Like, he did such a freaking job. He broke the system for how you can play the Joker. You're just too freaking good. And like the crazy thing about it is, like, the techniques he used to portray that was like freaking what he was going through in his life at that time. And that's crazy to think that, like, someone with depression, someone who's an addict, like, that's how their brain spins all day long, is how he portrays the Joker in that movie, you know? That's crazy. So if any of you freaking kids out there are like, I wonder what drugs are like, that's it. Especially if you're a depressed kid. That's literally what it's like. You feel like that on the inside, and it's not fun. But yeah, dude. Today's been weird because all I've heard is other people talk about how fun their New Year's is gonna be, all the plans they have, and like, I don't have anything to do. And I was gonna go to Bakersfield, but that didn't work out. And I just don't feel like driving either way. Like, I would go back home and spend time with my family or whatever, but I drive so freaking much. Like, I drove, I think, like 3 hours today for work. So the last thing I want to do is drive another 2 hours tonight, drive another 2 hours the next day. Yeah, no way. Because the thing is, like, had I left right after work, I still wouldn't even be detached yet. And that is like, yuck. I hate that drive so much. But yeah, I know I said I was gonna do an hour, but I don't think I'm gonna reach an hour. I'm just not feeling it. I'm probably going to sit and do exactly what Zion's doing, play some Black Ops 4. Actually, if you play Black Ops 4, if you have an Xbox like a normal human being should, you can add me. My name is Hot Pockets and Bobs, and everything beside, like, it's, I'm not even gonna explain it to you. If you want to add me on Xbox, you can just message me and I'll give you my gamer tag, and we'll play some Black Ops 4, dude. We will. It's so weird when right after high school was probably like the most awkward time of my life because all all of my closest friends either went to the military or they like left. They just dipped. And I was the only one that stayed in Tehachapi. And so I felt weird, dude. I didn't like I seriously that was like the first time I was like I have no option if I want to go hang out with friends right now. Like I had home and I had the gym and that was it. And that's like all I would do. And that's how I met Gus. And Gus is one of my like he's like a brother to me now and we met at the gym. Like well, we didn't meet at the gym. We've known each other. But we became really close at the gym. You know what's funny is me and Gus used to beef back in like junior high. Like hard too. We did not like each other. All because some stupid girl, dude. Like I think I had some crush on I don't even remember, dude. And I'm sure like cuz Gus has been begging me to do the podcast and he lives freaking like 9 hours away, so I don't know. But yeah, he was like I don't know, some stupid beef over a girl. But yeah, back in junior high we hated each other. It was so funny. And it's funny now that we're like best friends. And that's like a humongous joke with us now. And I used to wear back in junior high. I was like totally emo, like full emo, and I would wear like all black, and I loved it. Like I would have like I would flaunt that I had like all black Vans, black jeans, black socks, black shirt, like a black leather jacket. I remember I would like grease my hair back, or like I'd have the faux hawk. That I was like I remember I like made that look famous. Like I remember I was like, no one else has a faux hawk, and everyone was like, oh my god, I've never seen anybody's hair look like that. And like, yeah, I remember that. But and then I like, uh, Gus always wore like all purple. I remember that, like everything purple, and I was like, screw him with all his purple. I'll never wear purple. Like that's how much me and Gus hated each other. It's kind of funny. But yeah. So my New Year's resolution, I'm gonna finish this episode up with this, and it's gonna get a little sad, a little deep, a little personal, a little serious. And if you don't want to hear it, and you don't interested, and you don't care, and you feel like you're gonna be bored, here's what I want you to do: take your broke thumb, your broke arse thumb. If you're really broke, you're gonna click the button on your iPhone or on your Galaxy or whatever you have, and you're gonna swipe the YouTube app out of your history, and that's that. That's all you're gonna do. You don't gotta listen to it. You know what? If you don't want to be a part of this tribe and you don't want to listen to what I have to say, be gone, thought. That's all I gotta say. But my New Year's resolution, I want to sober up, 100%. You know, no more smoking, no drinking, no anything. And like I don't think I've lived like that in jeez, man. I don't know, a few years. And like I know a lot of people that are listening to this are like, "Wow, I never knew that about you." And I get that cuz I didn't want people to know. But at this point in my life, you know, I don't care really what other people think, you know? It's really and I honestly I just care about my own happiness and that like the people around me who know me feel loved by me. And that's all that matters to me, you know. Cuz I'm a big I will vouch for the send it lifestyle, you know, as long as you're not hurting anybody. But really I wanted to talk about it cuz I know that there's high schoolers or whatever, kids who are like 16, 17, 18, whatever, and you might be listening to this and you probably were like me. You went out to parties, you drank, you did all that, and you're probably wondering what else is out there. And honestly, dude, I'm gonna be straight up, especially someone who's like deals with depression or like not wanting to be here anymore. I think that that's why all those people often go straight to drugs because it's an escape. And a lot of people who, you know what I'm talking about. You've probably heard that before. And honestly, like, if you're tired of hearing it from your parents, hear it from me. And I'm a 19-year-old dude who's probably knows you personally, and you probably know nothing about this about me, you know. And I'm telling you this. There's two things that are going to come out from you ever going into drugs at all. Doesn't matter what it is. Smoking, cigarettes, anything. Even like psychedelics, any of the hard stuff. Like, there's two things that are going to happen. You're either going to force it to the point of overdosing, because honestly, there's never going to be a substance or an amount that'll ever be enough. There's always going to be the next best thing, or there's always going to be a better high, or I could get way more drunk than I did last time, you know. Like, there's always going to be that. That's a constant. And so you're going to eventually lead to the point where it just stops, and what you're searching is going to kill you. And or the second thing is, you're never going to see reality for what it is. And you know, I think that's what a lot of people go through. A lot of people I know too, to where, like, you can't, all you're going to want to do is, like, anytime, whether it's going to a gas station or driving or going to a store or shopping or eating, or you're always going to be like, oh, this would be so much better on this, or this would be so much better if I had this. And or like, even if it's just going to somewhere that you used to enjoy before you even did it, you'd be like, dude, this would be so fun if I was on this. And that's a terrible headspace to be in. It's absolutely awful. It shatters your reality to where you'll never want to not be on something. So hear it from me. If you're one of those people who are tempted or thinking about going down that route, like, it's not worth it. It's pushed me to the point of, like, this year, I'm like, I'm sobering up 100%. Tomorrow, I'm not doing nothing. You know, I'm not drinking tonight. I'm not smoking tonight. I'm done, man. I'm done with that life. Because I want to love this life. You know, I want to love this life for what it is and what is naturally given to me, you know, because I have a great life. I have a great life. And I have amazing people around me all the time. I have you guys listening to this. If you're actually still listening by this point, like, you're one of the people that, you know, you matter to me. You know, even if I've never had a conversation with you and you're listening to this, you matter to me. And if you want to message me ever and talk about anything, doesn't matter what it is, I will always have a conversation. I will always answer. And so, yeah. So 2019, I'm sobering up, kiddos. And I hope that if you're going through anything that I've been through, you know, I'm doing it with you. And if you're trying to quit, I'm right there with you. So I don't know if you're like religious or whatever you believe, you know, keep me in your prayers, because it's gonna be a hard month. January is gonna be probably one of the hardest months I've ever lived, honestly. But I'm excited for it, seriously, because I know that in the long run, my life is gonna benefit from this month. But it's gonna be one of the hardest months in my life. But that's what life is. It's just a bunch of roadblocks until you get to the next thing. And this is just a roadblock for me. But it's a roadblock that's going to it's going to pave a clean street for the rest of my life. And I'm happy I'm figuring that out now. So, yeah, man, I'm interested. Send me your New Year's resolutions. I want to know what you guys are doing, even though I think they're completely stupid. But, you know, you get the point. I'm doing one. So I'm going against my own word on this one. How do I close this out without you guys depressed after hearing that? Studio's coming together. I got the 2 salt lamps. Salt lamps are freaking sick. I have the Bob Ross cup that says Happy Trees and has Bob Ross's face on it. And then on the other side it says, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. And that's so true. Because there's no such thing as a mistake. It's always just a learning experience, you know? And I got the owl. Dude, I love owls. I have an owl tattoo. I love owls. I think they're one of the coolest looking animals to like symbolize or make symbols of, and that's why I got a tattoo. I freaking love my tattoo. I like admire it every day, and I can't wait to get more. Honestly, I don't know what I want to get for my next tattoo, but I think I'll probably get one this month. I because when I look at my arm, I'm like I need to like I love my owl tattoo, but it looks so lonely. And I'm like, this would look so much better if it had some other stuff around it. And that's all I can think about. It's like, what am I gonna get around it? And I have so many freaking ideas of what I want to get, and I'm just trying to like dwindle it down to where I can just get what I want. It's gonna like, cause, dude, getting a tattoo for the first time is one of the weirdest things ever. Cause my first tattoo is super sentimental, super meaningful. I knew I wasn't gonna regret it whatsoever. But there's something about the moment that needle starts running against your skin where you're like, I can't go back. Like, this is going to be on me forever. And that reality kind of hits you. And it's a weird, weird feeling. But ultimately, like, I was telling my friend, because he doesn't have any tattoos, but he wants a ton of tattoos. And he's like, dude, I just don't want to regret any. And I was like, honestly, like, it gets to the point where you just see them and you just admire them for what they are. You don't like the value you had when you first got it. It kind of dwindles a little bit, and then they're just aesthetic. You just look at them. So don't get anything ugly. That's all I gotta say. But like ultimately, when you decide to put something on your body, it's gonna be there forever, and you're gonna learn to love it. You know. But yeah, try not to get ugly tattoos, dude, or tattoos that are just like aren't gonna look good eventually. I don't get how people can do that. But all right, I want to wish everybody a very happy new year, a very safe new year. Don't drink and drive. If you drink and drive, you're not a part of this tribe. All right, you're not. Because if you drink and drive, you're putting another tribe mate at risk. Someone who would be listening to this podcast, and you're taking a life because you made a stupid decision. Don't make that stupid decision. Just take an Uber. Call an Uber. Call me. If you're in Visalia, call me. I'll give you a ride because I'm not doing nothing. I'm not taking anything. So I'm just going to be chilling here lonely, playing some Black Ops. Probably eat some. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? Okay, this was going to run a little bit longer. I know. I said I was going to end it. But I got my car's aux input thing broke. So, and it's been broken for like a couple years now, I believe. Like, so I can't play any of the music I want to. I have to carry like a Bose speaker with me if I want to listen to my own music in the car, like a podcast or something. But it does do CDs. And so I bought a Machine Gun Kelly CD the other day. It's the Bloom album, and I love that album. It's probably like my favorite album by him, and I love Machine Gun Kelly. But dude, for like, I listened to that album like start to finish for the first time, and I love the album, but the man says ramen noodles at least 5 times throughout the whole album. Like, you can't say ramen. First off, ramen noodles. Who says ramen noodles? If you say ramen noodles, get out of the tribe. All right, that's a done deal. That's a pet peeve. Get out. Don't say ramen noodle. It's so nasty. So he says ramen noodle, but he says it like 5 times throughout the album, like not just in one song. And now I can't listen to the album because I know a ramen noodle's coming up, and I have to say it out loud and joke around, and now I'm busting up laughing, and I can't take the thug shit real, you know. So, but yeah, if you say ramen, get out of town, because you got a problem. Plain and simple, dude. Have a good New Year's, guys. I'm gonna post this on the YouTubes. And God bless. Retro.